Oh, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Onward VRML Season 14 Week 6. Tonight we have a very exciting matchup with KOVRA versus Space Aces. So this is going to be quite a interesting match, going for a silver ranked team to be casting for this evening. Tonight I will be joined with my co-caster Delamiro. So how are you doing tonight, Delamiro?
Pretty good, pretty excited for this game. Pretty late for us, but for these teams I think it's quite early, so it'll be very nice to watch, you know, good late night casts.
Of course, for the current thing it is going to be 8 PM EST, for in our time it is 1 AM, so quite a late one for us, I must admit you. But oh well, we've got to do love a little bit of a late night cast. So moving our way over to the stats and statistics. KOVRA, so checking over to their season 14 stats so far, they played Subway 6 times so far, with winning it 3 times with a 50% win rate, 35 rounds played with a 51% win rate on each round, so that is still kind of halfway there between 50-50 in terms of they're going to win that map of sorts. Suburbia, of course, being quite a stock standard of NA teams. Of course, it has played 4 times, only won it once though, so it's kind of a bit of a rough one, but maybe they might redeem themselves in our eyes depending on how the round will go. Of course, KOVRA is going to be the home team, so it will be interesting to see how they will be picking their first map pick. Going over to the bans, which I have actually forgotten to add. Oh, so how silly of me. Okay, so the bans for this evening, which are going to be for KOVRA, is going to be Snow Peak and Cargo. So very exciting map picks, of course. Cargo being banned, one of the smaller maps in the game, being very fast and very hectic, and of course it's, you know, it's one of those maps which you either love it or you hate it. I don't know about you, but I'm not a big fan of Cargo.
Yeah, if we have a look over to the KOVRA's play time this season, we can see they haven't actually played, I don't think they've played either of their bans. They played Cargo twice and they won it once, which, you know, not too bad of a record. It's a 50% win chance. However, they have not played Snow Peak this season, which, you know, they've probably been scrimming it a lot and realised that it's not their strong point. So, yeah.
Yeah, so it should be very exciting to see. Of course, KOVRA did play it, I believe it was 4 times in Season 13, so not as much, but, you know, they do have some practice on it, so they did win it 3 times out of the 4 times they did play it, but should be interesting to see how they will be progressing in that. But coming over to going to be Space Aces' term for their map picks and their bans. For Space Aces, they have decided to ban for this evening Downfall in Arctic.
Yeah, Downfall, they have played this season once and they did lose it, only winning 2 of 7 rounds. Whereas Arctic, they have not played. You know, they seem to be a lot of bans on the maps they haven't played this season. You know, obviously they're going to be scrimming. They have the experience in the past of last season. You know, they're going to know which maps are their favorite and which aren't.
Of course, but for this evening we will hopefully be seeing quite a interesting map picks of sorts, as, you know, these teams are, you know, very close in terms of the map MMR and such. You know, they are only 20 MMR apart from each other, KOVRA being 20 MMR above Space Aces, so, you know, they're still very close together in terms of the brackets. So it's going to be interesting to see if the MMR doesn't mean much. You never know, Space Aces might, even if they do win this game, might jump up even further, getting above KOVRA, but that is to be seen.
Yeah, KOVRA clearly coming out as the favourites today with 20 more MMR than Space's Aces, and also being the home team, which has its advantage of being able to pick both of the maps, that 2 of the maps that are played out of the 3.
Of course. Now, moving our way onto the first map for this evening, it's going to be Subway. What a very nice first map pick, and also, believe it or not, I believe it is KOVRA's top most played map for Season 14 so far, and let me quickly check back, and it is correct. So, of course, this is going to be KOVRA's pick for this evening, as is this the most played map so far going for the season. It does make sense to why they have decided to play this map, but in terms of the objective, we are going to be seeing the center platform OBJ, which, is it the center? No, I believe it's not. It's the basement objective. I take that back. Of course, the basement objective being probably one of the most difficult objectives to attack on. You know, you're either really good at attacking it or you're not good at attacking it. It's really a hit or miss.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a tough one to start on, especially. I think most teams prefer the above ground objectives to attack and even to defend sometimes. But this one, it's very cappable. It has these little cubbies, which we can see here, that, you can hide in. And when you're capping, if you get, some smokes in and around the objective, you pull your tablet out and really go for it. And for those who don't know, a cap brings out 2 points for your team rather than the one, and it is awarded when the attacking team puts a code into their tablet, which they have on their back, and it brings home 2 points rather than one. But it is a lot more difficult to do and can only be done on attack.
Yes, and if you are uncertain, yes, when you do win a round by killing all the enemy opponents, you do win 1 point, which I just want to quickly add in just in case any confusion. Of course, you can also cap as a Volk. There's a thing called a back cap, which is often referred to when you're stuck in a tight situation. Let's say, for example, you're in a 1v5. You have the choice to cap your own objective, which does make you have a -1 point, but instead of being possibly capped on, some teams do choose it if they know they're going to get capped on.
Yeah, personally, I've never seen it in a game before. However, I have definitely heard of it happening before, and it's, definitely very popular on certain objectives, which are just nearly unavoidable in terms of the cap coming out.
Of course, but I say, hopefully we should be going very soon into the gameplay. They have had their 10 minutes to get every player in, but we should, fingers crossed, be starting very, very shortly. But I say, I've only seen a back cap actually happen once in a league game. And, even I was so surprised by it. When it happened, I actually wasn't sure what happened. I was thinking about the game glitch for a second, but no. It's something which some teams do consider, but it's very rare. It does occur, though. Very, very rare.
Yeah, it's actually something that a lot of teams don't even know about, especially the newer teams, because it's something that just rarely ever happens. But, well, we could see it today. It could happen any day.
Well, that is well and truly sure. But I say, believe it or not, only figured out about the back cap only fairly recently. I say fairly recently. I mean, relative to some teams that have been around for seasons or years and such. But I only recently, about like 4-ish months ago, only discovered that you can actually cap your own objective as Volk, and I was really confused. I was like, wait a second, you can back cap? But yeah, apparently that is a real thing. So, believe it or not, Onward surprises us daily.
Yeah, just waiting for Spaces Ace's 5th player now, and once they're in, the first round can go underway.
Of course, but for KOVRA's side, we are going to see Battle Rose, Sibba, Fly to the Sky, Bron, and Jason for KOVRA's side. Currently on Space Aces, we do see Buddha, Raccoon, Death Legion, and Gummy666. So hopefully their 5th player will join shortly so we can get straight into the subway madness. Of course, this is probably one of my most loved maps. I love a good subway. It's just how like simplistic it's made, but like so complex at the same time.
Yeah, an absolute classic to Onward. Probably one of the most, if not, probably the most memorable Onward map to me. I love it. By far my favourite.
I think, thinking about what would be the most memorable Onward map, it either has to be Suburbia or Downfall. Like, when you ask a player, yeah, I mean, Downfall was always that map, people were like, oh, it's Onwards, long range, snipers, all the, like, the windows and all the buildings. It's that map, but, people do talk about Suburbia as it is a classic, but you never know. You never know.
Yeah, I think Cargo as well holds a big place in the community.
Oh no, not a Cargo.
And then there's the maps like today which are banned, such as Snow Peak, which are probably more forgotten.
Yeah, it's very upsetting, I'll be honest. People don't like Snow Peak as much as I like it. I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm good at Snow Peak, but I do feel very upset that some teams do kind of forget that Snow Peak is a real thing, but it happens. Not everyone can be a Snow Peak lover.
We are going to be starting as a 5v4. Spaces Aces not bringing in a 5th player.
Going to be a very interesting choice to why they have decided this, but it's clear to me that Spaces couldn't get their 5th in time, and of course you only do have 10 minutes before you do have to mandatorily start. So hopefully they can try to carry on despite this.
It's a Death Legion going for a rush up the overpass, trying to be very aggressive.
So for the current moment, we do see quite a open defense going on here, going for Space Aces. We do have Raccoon down the track in the basement, and of course we do have Buddha, which is kind of watching that service tunnel. Does need to worry about Brunt, which is now making his way up. He's trying to clear out those angles, trying to make sure that the red room is secure.
소리 들립니다. 그쪽 안쪽에 한 명 있는 거.
Yeah, they're trying to surround the areas of the objective. Two, Bron and Civica are both down in this tunnel down here. And also now joined by Battle Rose. You know, they're trying to kind of surround around the objective with also the other two, Jason and Fly to the Sky, you know, also on the opposite side. They need to put pressure on both ends and push at a similar time. Otherwise, they're going to get caught out and picked off one by one.
Battle Rose does throw out a nade, does clear the exit to make sure there's no C4 and everyone is hiding. Does need to worry about Buddha, which is maybe debating trying to go a bit of aggressive push here. Something which I do want to comment about, we do see in the far back, Gummy is kind of going for a flank. So if you come over to Gummy, he's on his way, he's making his way into the generator room. He's behind the enemy team. They are unaware. We'll be coming around, we'll be getting a pick onto Bronx. Ooh, nice shot there from Death Legion. So many picks going on, so many picks.
Space's Aces are a man down, but they're not suffering from it seems. Buddha also now getting very close.
And that will be the first point going for Space Aces. KOVRA just kind of got a little bit surrounded there at the very end, as you just witnessed. You know, they do need to kind of work on a bit of awareness. You know, they didn't notice that that guy was in the flank, and that guy on the flank did manage to get one pick, and then kind of add some more pressure, so they kind of pancaked each other. But still a very nice defense, regardless, to secure the first point for Space Aces.
Yeah, KOVRA were surrounded there. They had a lot of attacking defenders on the Space's Aces side, seeming to, you know, come up through the overpass and other areas of such, and were eventually shut down.
I say you do need to have that certain level of awareness. Something which I do say to people often is that you need to have this idea of tablet awareness, making sure that the OBJ is protected, or to make sure that you have how many players are alive and where they are is so crucial. I mean, I could never go an entire round and not checking my tablet at least hundreds of times. I just love having that information in my mind.
Yeah, it's important, especially as a defender, to constantly check your tablet, however, because, you know, 1 second all your teammates can be up, and the next second they're all dead. You know, that's happened to me multiple times, and the other team has capped from it.
So it is important to make sure you do have that tablet awareness. But say there's been times where you do see players which just it just hurts occasionally. They're just unaware. They need to be paying attention to it, but they just don't do it. But regardless, hopefully we'll see a bit more of improvement from KOVRA. Spaces are now making their way up. Got the standard spawn, which is at the west side.
None of KOVRA doing any aggressive pushes, none up to the overpass like Space's Aces did, which in my opinion is a very strong position to hold. Death Legion running down the overpass at full speed. Gotta be careful, checking around these corners despite none of KOVRA being there.
So it's going to be quite a interesting attack, because, you know, KOVRA is 5 stacking the basement. You know, they have not moved out into center platform. They have all stacked, and, you know, if you do look into the generator room, we do see Buddha, which is now kind of making his way up. Trying to just clear out, trying to spot any people, but of course, you know, they are kind of playing tight. Do have a C4 though, which, you know, I do want to address. On the pipe, it is very open though. It's quite a open C4, and it has been spotted, I do believe. But I say it's a C4 which I probably wouldn't use. as that is very exposed and that does kind of give off a bright light.
Yeah, I think a better place would probably be behind, or in between the pipes. I think right there, or even on the roof or such. If they're a bit lazier, they won't check on the roof like that. But this position here is definitely way too exposed. But smokes are going out.
Yeah, so
which
they are
means
pushing up.
They are going to be masking the position of the C4, which can end up in KOVRA's favor. Funny enough.
Say, a nice little free C4 spot which I do want to mention is in between these bins. Something which I don't see people clear often are these bins. I've seen times where teams will just completely run by the bins, not even look between them, and one cheeky C4 will take them all out.
Yeah, personally, I wouldn't have checked in between these bins, so I think you're definitely right. Hiding, maybe taking a position like behind this box here and just listening for audio.
We do see the C4 does get shot, does get dead by Bronx. Will not take anyone out, fortunately, for Space Aces, and they will be kind of making their way up here, kind of taking it a bit more of an EU slow. We always make a joke about the EU slow, the EU slow and the EU slow and the NA fast, but for this evening, it does appear that Space Aces will be the slower team. Bronx is going to be peeking out, does get one pick onto Davracoon. What a TK! What a TK!
Team killed. But a good swing from Civica to take out Buddha.
So that's a very unfortunate TK, but he does get the second pick. So that does help the team move forward. Down goes Buddha from, of course, Siprak. It's now up to Death Legion and Gummy for Space Aces are trying to get it back.
Gummy on this north, double down, ready to push down. He needs to push in time with Death Legion. Otherwise, he's just going to get shut down, taken out one by one against 4 defenders. I think they also...
Oh, yep, go on.
I think they also have an incorrect kill count because there was a team kill that came out. So I think Gummy and Death Legion are under the belief that they are against 5 defenders.
So this will be definitely a lot difficult for Death Legion because, he's kind of pushing down. Does need to worry about Jason, which is on his left, or his right, I should say. But it does appear that he can be quite open, though, when he does want to push. Doesn't need to worry about the left side, only the right side. Jason isn't really looking. If Death Legion swings around this corner, Jason's gone. So they are taking it very, very, very slowly. I would be worried about running out of time right now.
I think a minute and a half is enough time to get an attack when they're this close to the objective, but they are going to be slow peeking this corner. Death Legion. Oh, some shots out.
Shooting the C4. Yep, that was taken out a C4, which was a very good C4 spot, but just unfortunately not used properly. Gummy's going for an aggressive push. Unfortunately, does get taken out. You do see Death Legion, but does push out and does get taken out. First point going for KOVRA. What a way to end the round. Say, that was still a pretty solid effort, at the very end. You did see Spaces did have the right idea. Gummy had the right idea by trying to nade Cola Machine. If he had a smoke, he would have thrown it on the right side, but did clear him, so he could push a bit to the left, make sure Cola is cure and definite, so he could definitely put some more aggression down for, KOVRA. But regardless, he had the right idea, but the execution just wasn't perfect enough. But, still fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that that KOVRA, or who was attacking last round? Spaces Aces.
Spaces Aces.
Spaces Aces had the disadvantage in terms of player wise, which is really, really unfortunate for their attackers, because attacking is, in my opinion and in most people's opinion, a harder job to do than it is defending. And attacking as a 4-man is even harder as a 5-man, as you can imagine. But we are going into the next round, which will be the Chinatown Market objective, which is one of my favorite objectives by a mile. We won't even get time to talk about it as they're going straight in.
They're getting themselves ready for this round. It does appear that, unfortunately, KOVRA will not be getting the quick spawn, so... Actually, they do have the quick spawn. I keep on mistaking the spawns all the time. I'm so used to the northern spawn. Let's say they will be getting the quick southern spawn. It does allow them to play very aggressively. We do see that Sipka is kind of going up fast. Oh, Gummy does peek round. Does shoot off. Shots do not land, unfortunately, though. And we are going to see that Gummy will be retrading back, trying to get back to the objective. Let's say, what a nice little attack there. Almost worked. Unfortunately, was just not fast enough.
Giving KOVRA a false sense of pressure as well after rotating back. Just wasting a tiny bit of extra time. But Civica is not worried about that at all. Rushing straight up to this corner and trying to find out that where that Spaces Aces defender has disappeared to.
Now looking over to Fly to the Sky, we do see that Raccoon is kind of sitting at this little like plant box section at the Adult Alley staircase. Of course, we do have Fly to the Sky who will be trying to clear it out. Waiting for his team to kind of make that push through main. Nades are being thrown by them. Raccoon is not really looking, but he will be definitely aware of Sky's position now. Sky does rush round. Raccoon does not peek up. He's taking this very secure. Oh. Shots coming from Buddha. Takes out Battle Rose. Fly to the Sky will be taken out from Raccoon.
Just left to the 3 KOVRA attackers against the 4 defenders, but Buddha Master gets very close and is taken out by Bronx, but only down. Free fire coming out from Death Legion through the smoke. Just trying to pick off anybody, you know, they can be way within that smoke, getting ready to cap if they have enough utility to do so. Nearly catches Civica.
Almost. So there is many smokes on the objective. Death Legion is kind of doing the right thing and putting pressure on KOVRA. Knife kill onto Buddha from Bronx. Very unfortunate, but say Death Legion is stopping this cat from going ahead.
Yeah, just a fully... Oh, an attack fully concentrated down in this main alley, and Civica takes out Gummy. Death Legion comes forward and takes out the 2 KOVRA attackers. Death Legion very happy with his 2 kills there.
So they are doing an excellent job for the defense coming from Space Aces. You know, that last little section there was utter chaos. Multiple double kills there from Death Legion does secure that win for his team, moving us over to 2-1, going for Space Aces. This is definitely quite a stand-up for them so far. I would be very happy with this result so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Space's Aces are a man down and they are ahead.
You know, that is a huge compliment in some ways. Beating a team whilst being a player down has to be the ultimate. You know, I don't want to say like the ultimate supremacy in some ways, being able to beat a team with a player down. That is just a huge statement, but you know.
Yeah, they're also on the away as well. They're
course,
also the away team and lower MMR. This is going very well in Space's Aces' favor.
So we'll kind of have to see how they will be taking care of the next rounds. Of course, they will be on the attack for this time. They did lose their first attack round, but maybe they can try to get it back, because you know this is going to be quite a easy objective to attack on Marsoc. Hopefully they do get that quick spawn so they can do the same level of aggression towards KOVRA. Moving over to Space Aces, which is going to be getting the southern spawn. So this is going to be the quick spawn. So they will be getting themselves ready. We are going to see Darakun Buddha probably taking the fast approach. It's going to see Death Legion probably going north and Gummy going through Overpass.
Yes, it does.
Get ready.
Something I find interesting, you know, KOVRA has not been very aggressive so far. They are taking this quite passively. They are not playing super aggressive angles. I guess the only super aggressive is Battle Rose, which is going to get some shots onto Death Legion here.
C4 placement on here also. Oh, Death Legion takes out Battle Rose. Yeah, just tucked away C4 on the shop.
That is a very nice C4 spot. Does need to worry about, you know, I wouldn't recommend his general position, as I would be worried about people pushing through the service tunnels up to the top, but you know, that is still a pretty nice C4 spot. Does need to worry about when to detonate it. C4 gets blown too early, unfortunately, and will not get anybody off. Ooh. Oh.
Flies to the sky with a good pick.
Nice, yeah, nice little refrag.
Attackers.
It's still 3-3 so far. Out goes another C4. Doesn't catch anyone off currently. Got this little fight going on between Darakun and Fly to the Sky currently. Although Death Legion is kind of sneaking around to the northern side. Does have a PKM. He is able to put down some punishment with that thing. But I imagine that he is kind of waiting for his team to kind of push up with him so he can get that angle. Gets through some smokes. Kind of just help his team get to that cap if possible.
Yeah, that PKM's going to come in at the M249. The Marsoc alternative. I know it is a PKM, he's picked it up from somewhere. Yeah, that PKM gonna play a big part in a cap if they want to play it.
So, very nice little frag there. Going for KOVRA. Oh, into the pit, definitely trying to go for a cap right now. Kind of standing in the objective, will be taken out. Kind of a foolish cap. You probably shouldn't be trying to cap with flashbangs. Smokes are a lot more safer, and it does leave Gummy in a 1v3 situation in the north.
I think if you're a very confident player, you can definitely flash with it, flash to cap. However,
yeah,
a smoke
it's
would
just
be a lot more helpful.
The current issue is, you know, that flashbang will not be able to take out every single player which is next to the objective, as it did kill, you know, as it did kind of go out. You know, he kind of went for that cap, and of course Jason kind of, you know, came round the corner and just obliterated him whilst Sibak was blinded.
Gummy taking this very slowly down the north alleyway. He's just kind of gonna make sure he is very aware of all the defenders' positions. They can be anywhere. I'm not sure if he has an accurate kill count either, but if he does, then it will play very nicely. You know, the best players can know exactly where the enemies are going to be in pre-fire. We'll see if this is the case.
I was going to say, I believe there's a C4, but there's not a C4 in the north. It's 2 C4 has been going out. Gummy is creeping his way up. So, you know, he's right next to 2 players right now. I would say go for a stealth cap, but he does not have the range, unfortunately.
You can also hear that tablet being pulled out. He needs to be a bit quicker peeking this corner.
And, will be taken out by Jason.
And that leaves KOVRA into another defensive round win.
So it does appear that they are going to be trading defensive, and, you know, it's going to be trading Marsoc and Volk wins on both sides by the looks of it. It does appear Space of Aces always wins the Volk rounds, but KOVRA always wins the Actually,
Yeah,
I don't
just
know.
a
Yeah,
defensive back and forward.
Yeah, defensive back and forward. I've kind of just lost my train of thought. Please do forgive us. It is 1 a.m. But of course, but yeah, it is that kind of idea. But the objective now is going to be one of my all-time favorite, the Northern Stair objective. The most feared objective from every team out there. Can be one of the easiest and the hardest objectives to defend depending on your layout for your team. Of course, you do need to worry about the Northern 5-man push, which is a feared sight to behold, but often isn't a 5-man push anymore. You do see kind of a 4-3 push down the north, having one go through service tunnels and one through the south, or even through overpass. You know, it's kind of the idea of making sure that the first level terminal is cleared out for the team to kind of start putting some pressure down. Something which I would keep note of is something you start to see a lot more often now is that teams will have a person go through a flank, and we'll say for example I might go for the southern side, and using the team distraction with all the attention on the north will kind of sneak round and, you know, get a few picks of people trying to return to the objective.
Yeah, I think flanks now very, very important for teams that are off the guard. The best teams will have players sit and watch flanks, which is, you know, very, very crucial. And the amount of times where teams have been completely wiped out on pushes is unbelievable.
You would always hope that you would always hope that you are aware in terms of people being behind you. Double flashbang from Gummy. Oh, there's going to be YouTube aggressiveness. We are going to see a 3-man. Oh, is it going to be a 4-man? Is it going to be a 5-man push? Oh, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
That was another flash.
Yeah, they're really going for it. We can see at the back, fly to the sky. It is on that flank watch, like we mentioned. And
So no smokes and pre-fires out yet. Oh. Let's say you were correct. They are going to be watching some. They're going to have someone on the flank, which is going to be fly to the sky. Up goes a nade. Does hit Buddha. Oh, excellent grenade. But it does kill himself at the same time. Very unfortunate. Don't know how that worked, but he managed to die to his grenade. I'm not exactly sure what that was about, but he died to his own grenade, which was thrown. I'm not exactly sure what that was about, but that does leave Gummy kind of in an awkward situation, being kind of the only one on the objective currently. We'll trade, we'll battle Rose. The objective is now open. You know, they do have time to go for that cap, but they are taking it slowly. No, they are not pushing. They are not pushing to utilize that time they have. Death Legion will swing around the corner. Does get the confirm, but will be refragged.
KOVRA might have been able to win this with a cap, but they've took it very slowly down this North Stairs push. Their flank watch also still sitting back, which is definitely not the right decision now. The Raccoon about to peek. Takes out the Cibica and Jason.
Nice little double kill there, going for that Raccoon. Leaving Fly to the Sky in a 1v1 situation. You should always have a teammate with his gun up. No matter what, you should always have it. You should never only have one guy. You know, if you have that person who's just kind of swing around the corner and you all are caught without your gun up, you know, that is just a very unfortunate situation, but it's now kind of left down to this kind of awkward 1v1, which shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, very awkward for the Raccoon as well. He also doesn't know where Fly to the Sky is going to push from. He knows that 4 of KOVRA's players have been taken out on the North Stairs, but will he expect another one?
So,
Oh, he is going to watch the line, however.
oh, just kind of check back. I would be kind of worried for the current moment. It's holding his gun a little bit interesting, I must say. Holding his gun quite high up, but that's fair enough. Fly to the Sky is creeping. He does see the gun. He could shoot his hand. I don't think he wants to risk going for the hand shot, though. Is retreating slightly up the stairs. I'm not exactly sure to why, but out goes a flash. Does Flash himself, unfortunately, is kind of having a bit of a panic on here. Darakun does swing round. No shots are had. Oh, and yes, they are now. And that does secure the round for KOVRA. What an interesting round ending there. So they could have well and truly had that cap, but they didn't utilize that time they had. It is always crucial to take advantage of any time you do have, which is free. If you have an objective which is open for at least 10 seconds, you know, or even 5, even if you can't get the full code in, getting a few numbers in will still benefit your team massively if you can try to finish it off.
Yeah, I think that round then is an absolute game changer for KOVRA. You know, they were down on the defensive, for defensive advantage. Spaces Aces were ahead on that defense. You know, if they'd have won that defense, they would have went on to probably win the rest of this map also on defense rounds. But because they've won that one attack, they've really turned the tables now, and they now also have the easier job to finish off the map, which will put KOVRA ahead. However, Spaces Aces can pull back by capping this round. And I've called this in the past before, many times actually, but I am feeling a Spaces Aces cap is on the horizon.
We may truly see it. So it would be an interesting, you know, result if they do get that cap, because this is quite a cappable objective, depending if KOVRA will be kind of trying to stay around the objective, of course. We did see that, you know, on KOVRA's side on the defense, they were playing very open, which is kind of the more common approach. But you know, Spaces might kind of stick tight to the objective, having a lot more people near it. So it's kind of interesting how they will be kind of playing it. So now moving in. Oh, they just bailed me out with the scoreboard timer thing. Oh, how annoying. But actually now going into gameplay, if it will of course let me, which it is not for some bizarre reason. That is not great, but anyway, moving over to the gameplay scene. Moving away.
Same objective for KOVRA to defend this time, and I think a different spawn. I'm not sure if the spawns are different for this one, but 2-man push down North Alley, or 1-man actually. Death Legion splits off to go into the overpass, but Gummy is the only attacker that has pushed up. Jason seems to be the aggressive defender, and he is going to really want to watch this angle now, waiting for Gummy to push up. I think he can just hear him.
So he is kind of holding this very aggressive angle from Jason. Isn't trying to peek out too aggressively though, which is very wise, because we do have
Death Legion over here.
Ooh.
중계 -1.
Managed to capture that. That was a little frag there from Battle Rose. Just get one pick onto Space Aces, even now to a 5v3. Nice little pick there from Jason, who went out very aggressively to get the pick onto Gummy.
Spaces Aces 2-man down, which brings them down to 2 since they started with 4. But their 2 attackers are going to be down in this tunnel over here. You know, they're really slowly pushing up, it seems. Now they are pushing up together, which is a lot better than what we've seen so far. You know, we need teams to be pushing coordinatedly. That's not the word I was looking for. In a coordinated manner.
Of course, I say it is important to stack. You want to make sure that if a person does go down on your team, you can get that refrag. It is crucial. If a refrag doesn't go ahead, you know, that is just a free kill wasted. So it is always important to make sure they take advantage of that moment, because most of the time after a kill, a player will often reload their gun or even call out to their teammates that they have got a kill. So if you do forget to, you know, think about it. If they're on their radio, they're not really aiming their gun, so you can quickly zoom around the corner, get them when they're not expecting it, and get that kill. So refrags are very a crucial part for this game.
this very slowly. Bronx guy might be the next person they encounter, sitting in the tunnel in the north. Very strong angle to hold over here.
Quite a very common league spot, of course, in the higher teams. Do often see a player playing there to kind of act like a bit of a barrier for his team.
Yeah, it's also quite a strong position since it can also cover behind Battle Rose, who is sat in the position, you know, we can see down here. And the reason being is that you can actually come up behind Battle Rose if you go through the tunnel just in front of them. And, you know, we can see times where people have been flanked without even being known. And so they can cover, Bronx can cover that angle.
I would be kind of very worried about Raccoon's position. Raccoon's going to get taken out here. No, that down goes Booster. And down goes Raccoon from Battle Rose. And that does secure the first map going for KOVRA. So there we go. Now my overlay is back to working. And we have now moved our way over to the second map. First map will be going to KOVRA with a 4-2 score. Of course, in the league format, you only need 2 map wins to win the map. Of course, there is points involved in this game, which do affect the MMR, but even if a team has higher amount of points, they can still lose it, ironically. So that is something to always take note of in some ways. If you got 3 and 3, so that means you have 6, and then get a 5, you will end up with higher number of points if a team, such as, you know, say for example, they got 8, or getting 2 of the first map wins and losing on the third one.
Yeah, I think on this map, KOVRA showed excellent skill on the defenses and also on the attack, which they managed to win in the third point, which they took. KOVRA were a lot slower, definitely, than Spaces, but Spaces also showed a lot of fight, despite only having 4 players. We're going to be moving into the new lobby.
Of course, there is going to be a rehost moving to the next lobby, so it should be very exciting to see how that will be going and what map they will be picking. Now, moving our way forward, kind of have to see when the new lobby will be going up. Very excited to see what they will be picking.
Yeah, new lobby is up.
Ooh, very interesting map pick. It's going to be a long one though. It's going to be one of those nights then, Miro. Now making our way over to the second map, and anyone who's known the music for well enough, well, for the second map for this evening is going to be Quarantine. Of course, that music is so distinct and it chills my bones every time I hear it, knowing that I'm going to get wrecked across the map. Man, this map, it's... Sometimes you'll be sat there trying to enjoy your life, and when you get shot across the map, and you're just like, I love this game sometimes.
Yeah, that's why you have to be the one shooting across the map.
You see, I would, but I just can't see enemies. I have this weird weakness, which is, you know, on the caster POV, you get to zoom in and you have tracers. I wish I had that for myself because I can't see anything when I'm playing. Like, most importantly, if I'm ever playing on Hospital, you know, I will not be able to see utter anything. I just cannot see anything. It's just too far away. You know, it's just, to me, it's just pixels in the wind, moving around. But of course, this is the map that does have 128 objectives, so interesting to move forth into them.
Yeah, it's a very tough one for the short range players. It does have short range capabilities in certain parts. You know, we have the mall, which is in you know, somewhere which can be taken quite close range, but it does rely on having a defender and an attacker in there at the same time.
Of course, it will be kind of interesting to see how they will be addressing this. But So it is going to be Space's Axis's pick, and they are going to be the home team for this thing, so they are going to be hosting it. Plus, moving forth, they have also has it is that. Sorry, I'm very tired. I keep saying the same thing over and over again. You know, it's fine and all joking about doing a 1 AM cast, but when you're actually here, you're just like, I wish I didn't do this now.
I'm having a lot of fun.
Of course you are, because you're like on some weird 2 AM crack energy, of course. But anyway, moving forth, Space Aces is going to be on the Marslock side. The objective is going to be hospital. So moving over to the gameplay scene, as you can see, this is the hospital objective, which is at the eastern side of the map. Took me a few seconds to kind of process it all. But yes, we're now moving into round 1. Taking over to KOVRA, which are spawning at the hospital, getting themselves ready for this attack, and taking over to Space Aces. They are going to be having the very the very northwestern spawn, which is very far away, very diagonally towards the hospital. Yeah, very nice thing being called from that raccoon about things we can't disclose, but gotta love it. I would be worried about Bronx's position. Bronx is kind of having this clipping issue here. I just oh my, I just missed that.
The entire of Space's Aces just shut down like that.
Oh my, that has to hurt for Space's Aces. I was too busy worried about the person clipping to not realize that there was going to be a massacre about to take forth.
I don't think we have to worry about that anyway, but we have Gummy as the only lone Space's Aces attacker all at once. You know, that is really going to hurt Space's Aces. Especially since they already started with only 4 men.
This is going to be a very awkward situation moving forward for Gummy, at least. You know, being stuck in a 1v5, it's always this dream idea of being stuck in this position, being able to try to win it back. But, you know, in a kind way, you are toast, especially on a map like Quarantine. They are playing so tightly around the objective. Even if, by some miracle, he gets towards the ambulance, he does need to take out Bronix, and does need to worry about Shibia. And because you have Jason on the roof, because got fly to inside the hospital close next to the objective very nearby, and do have Battle Rose, which is at the, I forget what's called, the hospital you called it previously. I need to improve on my quarantine callouts.
Yeah, hospital. The one with the ambulance outside.
No hospital, I was talking about the white building with the tank. Sorry, I don't even remember what I said in the past 5 seconds.
Gummy taking a very interesting position. Lying down with the tablet out. Maybe even trying to remember that code.
So I would be kind of I would love to be rooting for this kind of situation, but he is kind of stuck in a very bad situation right now. Might be trying to move up, might even get a little pick onto Brox if he does kind of move around a little bit, but it's very unlikely.
Space's Aces taking it very slowly. Just enjoying all the time they have left to admire the quarantine scenery.
This has to be quite a painful situation to be in right now. But Gummy is still making up, but no! Battle Rose comes from nowhere. Securing the pick with a lot of pre-fire onto his dead corpse, securing the first point for KOVRA. What a disaster though. What an absolute disaster going for Space Aces on that being around. Losing 3 players instantly has to hurt.
Yeah, I think we all knew exactly where that was going as soon as it happened, you know? 3 players going down at once, dropping like flies. It is not nice, but it did happen, and KOVRA managed to grab the defense in the end anyway, but it's now their turn to attack. Are they going to drop just like Space's Aces did, or can they hold out a little bit longer?
Well, Space's Aces is now going to be on defense, so of course they will be trying to learn from their rookie mistake and make sure that the street is cleared, and they will not be clearing it by pushing through it unwisely. So hopefully they will not try to make such a mistake as last round, but we will be moving into gameplay very shortly. So let's move away into round 2, checking over to Space Aces. They will be getting the northern spawn, which is the more further away spawn going for them, but it does allow them to kind of put some pressure down onto hospital from the AC building roof. Of course, it does give them the freedom to kind of play where they want to. And they can always flank round to the east or the west, or go straight through the center.
Looks like we got some early lines up from Battle Rose and fly to the sky onto AC building. They are trying to pick off anybody crossing the out, but it looks like Gummy is really crossed out and it's taken out by Cibica. Really far out push from Gummy for some reason.
So I would be quite unsure to why they have kind of played this. You know, I would stick to the objective. I don't know why he's trying to go for this very random 1v kind of 5 solo push. But I would try to stick towards playing with the team here. You know, as you are in a kind of a vulnerable position being in a 4v5, I would like to benefit the team as much as possible, but trying to stick to them as much as I can. Give them this possibility to kind of move forward from it all.
Yeah, in a 4-man situation, you need to kind of do your job and more, since there is a player to make up for. You know, we can't do 1-for-1s. No trades need to come out like that, otherwise you'll just constantly lose. So running out like that and getting a 1-for-none is even worse. But this is Space's Aces.
Oh,
nice flash.
What a dirty flashbang from Buddha, I must admit. What a dirty flashbang.
But this is Space's Aces defense, so maybe KOVRA have studied that before in the past.
Oh, Battle Rose does avoid getting shot up. That Raccoon does get a pick onto Fly to the Sky. Moving down to a 3v4, going for Space Aces.
Scratch one.
So he is holding quite a good angle at the gas station. It is clearing off center burning. Also, it's kind of making sure that the southern side will be secure for his team. Ooh, shots on Battle Rose. Trying to hit Death Legion, but is not catching them, fortunately. Battle Rose is kind of just peeking out, but like, for this angle, you kind of want to be moving a bit more. Death Legion is kind of doing some push here. Smoke's on the objective. There goes Death Legion.
Battle Rose is playing a very large part in this. Pushes up, could take out Buddermaster. A trade. It's down to the Raccoon to make it back to the objective. Don't think Cibica will have enough time to get towards the objective, but Jason wins the attack
by securing that last pick, and that will be 2-0 so far. You know, this isn't looking very great for Space Aces. It's their map pick. That, you know, you kind of go into a map pick expecting to win it, and when you don't, it's kind of a concern. Something I know well too well, unfortunately, in my previous match played. But you know, it's still a very nice effort going ahead. You know, I would like to see if maybe it might just be like last game, which is where Spaces is kind of like get a few points down. It's not Spaces, but it used to, Oh, it's so late for me. Anyway, it's good. Maybe it might be like a reverse last map, which was when Spaces has got 2 points, and then KOVRA came back in. Maybe it might be KOVRA getting the first 2 points, and then Spaces are coming in to secure the last 4 points for the team. Why did I do this? Anyway, objective of course still is next to the hospital. It is moved. It's still at the hospital, but it has moved slightly. It is going to be at the white car next to the hospital objective, next to the massive hill section. I don't know exact call out for it. This is your part, Miro, for when you chirp in and call me an idiot. Correct me with my call out name.
Yeah, well, this objective is just the white car objective down in the south. It's a nice objective. I mean, it's very similar to the last one we just saw, but just a bit further out. Quite difficult to cap. You know, there's rarely anywhere to run in from. There's not much you can really play from here, but yeah, we're gonna go straight back in and yeah,
going straight into round 3, checking over to Space Aces, which will be getting the yet again out and around reset for KOVRA. Did actually not have a player in, making sure not to shoot. Oh, there we go. They almost did shoot, so luckily they were aware not to give away their spawn. Something which I do want to mention, you know, try to make sure not to shoot, especially on a round reset, because enemies can still hear roughly where gunshots are. And if they know your spawn location, you are going to be in a tough situation, especially on a map like Quarantine.
oh yeah, absolutely. Quarantine, there's so many spawns to play off, and intel is really, really important. But we do finally go into the 3rd round.
So they should be starting very shortly. You know, Space Aces is still in a 4v5. I'm surprised they haven't got a reserve in.
Yeah, I think at this point you need to get the reserve in, but they seem to be dealing okay without it in the first map, but this time they're not doing so well on their own map pick as well. Battle Rose pushes into the apartments. You know, fairly aggressive, not too bad, but could definitely work. You know, they have taken a very aggressive line. The angle they're watching is, you know, trying to look for the spawn rather than, you know, go for the early kills. But they are all going into the northwest. A drone also, I can't quite capture it because it is flying about.
Yeah,
but there is a drone coming in from Space's Aces, bouncing up and down.
I say some interesting drone flying skills going ahead. I've never seen someone go up and down with a drone before, but that's a first to behold. Maybe
Yeah,
one
drone.
day. Oh yeah, guys.
The drone buzzing about, just kind of annoying them.
Ooh. Oh, the drone, the poor drone is. I think the drone's down.
Yeah, rest in peace, the drone.
Oh, the poor droney. Rest in pepperonis, the poor droney. He will be missed. The drone which bounced couldn't outbounce the bullets, unfortunately.
Looks like a long angle being watched here. The Raccoon and Buttermaster just avoid some lead.
Hospital.
Very closely, do avoid that.
He's on the stairs looking through the top windows.
I would be very worried so far for Jason. As, you know, they do know where he is now. He could peek round and just pre-fire the window.
But don't peek yet. I think
Something
He's
I
holding a very strong angle though, I don't know.
because he doesn't know I'm up
say,
there.
I find their loadouts very amusing. They do often use quite the you kind of often use like a very off-common gun, which is the MCX, I believe it is called. Yeah, the MCX. They are using the MCX quite often, which isn't as used as it used to be. Oh, nice little pick down to that raccoon.
잡았어. 저쪽에 있는 놈 하나 잡았어.
When we have a bit of time as well, we do have a C4 here, which is interesting. I have never seen a C4 in this position before, but it is there.
So that is a very interesting C4. I've never seen anyone play that, but maybe that might not work, as you know, it does appear like Gummy's been trying to go on the outside of hospital, and we might even see the same coming for Buddha. So, oh, down goes Buddha from Fly to the Sky 002, leaving poor Gummy Bear to be on himself for this last little section here. Yet again, just like last round, might even be picked off yet again from apartments. Take your bets in now, votes. Will he be taken out from apartments, from battle rows like last time? Oh, no.
Oh, takes out Battle Rose. Really nice pick, but it now alerted exactly to where they are. Jason won't be able to peek that from his position, I believe, but Gummy needs to start pushing up. He does have 2 minutes and 15 seconds to play with, which is a long time, but in the end it is a 4v1. How far can this go?
Say they might even have an inaccurate kill count going for KOVRA, as you know, if Jason is kind of watching this angle still, it could well and truly be that they're uncertain of the current kill count. But you might see that Gummy is trying to go for a bit of a flank. Say it's kind of a bit of an issue, as we do have Bronx here, which is in the warehouse. We'll be kind of watching that street cross, and with Supercar. It's gonna be a tough one. He does need to start putting some heat down, get a few picks, anything trying to help himself here. Just for a flash, trying to bait out Jason, but Jason is still kind of standing up that position. Might drop down, you know, it is possible. He might just know that Gummy's right below him, so he might even just do a Batman.
Throw his big signal up in the air and just land on his head.
I have done that actually in a scrim. I jumped on top of an enemy with a knife from hospital roof, and I have no regrets from it. We lost a round because of me, but I'm still happy that I did that.
Oh, Cibica, if he turns around.
Ooh.
Oh, he's taken out. Gummy manages to take out 2 of the KOVRA defenders, and he could really maybe turn this around. If KOVRA surround Gummy, though, there is nothing they can do.
So I would be so worried, you know, KOVRA is now kind of on the aggressive side. Gummy with barely less than 30 seconds needs to take out Fly to the Sky right now. This peek over this wall is shooting, does not catch him. Oh, barely was getting shot in the back, but will be taken out. What a nice little engagement there. Very nice little engagement. Making our way back to the scoreboard, and it will be 3-0. I wonder what KOVRA will be picking next. It does appear they do have a favour for a bit more of a smaller range map, but not as small as Cargo. Cargo's too hectic. We might see a Suburbia or Bazaar. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, maybe a Suburbia, you might be right. Both teams have played it. Not a lot. I mean, KOVRA have played it 4 times and lost it 3 times, so they've only managed to take 1 of those homes a win, so the chance of Suburbia being played might actually be quite low, especially, you know, maybe not actually, since they are, if they win this next round, then they could go 2-0 up in terms of maps, and at that point they can, if they go 2-0 up in maps, they don't really need to try entirely hard on the last map, but it is nice to take home the extra points.
Of course, it is always nice to take home the extra points. It's like once you finish a match or a scrim and you know that you've won, that the last map you play is just like bonus points at that point. You don't even care how badly you do, you're just happy. But moving away into the round 4, taking over to Space Aces, which will be kind of stressed out here, knowing that they need to kind of make sure they do win this defensive round. The objective is still going to be at the hospital, and we are going to see KOVRA, which will be getting quite the quick spawn. in the east, or no, the western center.
The Raccoon runs up, tries to take some early shots, takes out
Ooh.
Fly to the Sky, and
In a
trades with
trade.
Balrose, but does lose the trade, unfortunately.
Nice little trade there. Nice little line he just hold. Almost takes out 2 people. Almost would have worked, but Battle Rose does manage to get that refrag with a trade.
Yeah, down to a 3v4. KOVRA massively on an advantage now with a player up on Space's Aces, just like they started with.
That I do have the numbers advantage. We will be seeing a 3 stack. Oh, down goes Battle Rose from Gummy Bear.
Nearly catches Bronx also, but Bronx drops to the deck quicker than you can say Mississippi.
Okay, well that is an annotation and a half from Miro. Appreciate that. I will be definitely putting that in my memory folder. This is a nice little angle that Gummy's put himself into. Kind of running off the staircase onto the boxes. You know, I have not seen teams do this. And maybe it won't be the best, because once you get shot at, you know, these are penetrable. So maybe not the best, but it's still something to keep aware of.
Yeah, he can hold a head peek, which is where you hold the gun sideways and you are nearly invisible to the enemies while being able to see quite a lot, which is very, very nice to gain an advantage on defense. And he can hold that on that crate, and most players probably won't expect him there, and even less will be able to see him. So it could work out really well.
I don't know. I think I just have a despisement to being head peeked. There's been times where you see just the smallest glimpse of their player model, and you're just dead. It hurts. No, head glitching to me, it just pains me.
Yeah, it's nice when you're on the other end of that, though, being the one doing it.
Oh.
Jiggle peeking motherfucker.
Death Legion not very happy.
Yes, not very happy about the jiggle peeking. Will be taken out from Shrupka. It will
He
be
is
a
not going to be happy
3v2.
about that one.
He is not happy, not at all. He
Good
does not
effort
like
from
jiggle
Sibica,
peeking.
though.
Yeah, say he did establish that. I mean, even if your moles tell you that jiggle peeking is wrong, he did do that correctly. Jiggle peeking around that corner does establish the whereabouts, and it does allow him to kind of swing round and kind of pre-fire, which did end up in his favor.
Yeah, it's a really, really good movement for Intel, and even trying to get a kill.
Yeah.
It works on both sides. If you're an offensive defender, then you'll be able to get in there. But KOVRA and Space Ace is down to a 2v2, leveling the playing fields. Jason just approaching into the hospital with a lot of smoke out on the front.
So I would be interested to see how... Oh, and I did call it. I was going to say, I wonder how Shipper will be doing as Buddha is in the open. The objective is now kind of open now. It's up to Gummy. It's up to Gummy Bear. Kind of the only one kind of have to watch it. Does need to worry about from the South Hospital and in front of the White Card Dunes. Does shoot and does get the pick. Leaving down to 1v1. Oh, Jason in the corner. Now will be a Space's Ace's first point.
Gummy has done really, really well this evening, especially on this map. He's really put that effort in and been the last one alive each time. Trying to carry his team to victory as much as possible. Just like you need it. Just like you need to do. Of
course, and it did see that Gummy Bear does get it back, so you know what, fair enough, and it is going to be leading us to a 3-1. So it'll be very interesting to see if this is the comeback of the century for Space's Aces. Will they try to get it back? Maybe they might even try to go for a cap here, as the objective is, of course, now moved to the crash plane objective next to the broken building. So it would be kind of interesting, if Space Aces can get a cap, or if not, trying to make sure they win a few kill rounds, that could well and truly make them have a fair chance. But this is all this is all you know, in a dream world logic or ending, of course. But
hypothetical was the word you were going for.
yes, I know it's too late for me, man. But yes, hypothetically, dream. I don't know anymore.
Possible.
Yes, you know what? Right, maybe you should just do the speaking for me at this point.
Well, we are going into the 5th round now, and
I don't think I actually heard you guys.
Spaces Aces are on the attack, which is much harder.
Take your time, alright?
Oh, yawn. No, yes, no. Southeast. Man, I don't understand. How are you not tired?
I am perfectly active.
Yeah, you concern me. Well, you will know for a fact I will be getting a perfect night of sleep tonight, so you can be assured of that. We will be seeing that Butter is now making his way up to the hospital. We'll be trying to put some pressure down. We'll be eventually seeing some pushes from into the north. Let's say they are taking their time for now, at least.
The Raccoon really rushing up now. He's getting really aggressive. Possibly pushing onto Civica very soon.
Civica, that's how you pronounce it. Has called out that the center burning is a person there. So that Raccoon does need to make a decision how he wants to kind of push this. No one is watching him though, so you might see him kind of go for a push. Civica is making quite an awful amount of noise here. So, you know, just give him kind of an idea of where to expect. That Raccoon is now making his way out. Goes a flash, does hit him in the does not hit him, does come in and does get the pick onto Civica.
Yeah, Spaces Aces now have control of center burning, which is going to be a major part of the almost board to take. Death Legion and Battle Rose trading off in the north somewhere.
So that was a nice little trade. Sky, or Flight to the Sky, is unaware that there is a flanker right behind him. Buddha Master is kind of making his way into Crash. Oh,
I don't quite think Buddha Master knows about Flight to the Sky either. They're just out of each other's vision.
Buddha will be sneaking past him. Buddha does check his right. Is he going to check right? He's not checked right. They've completely walked by each other. Wow, that is an interesting result, to say the least.
Yeah, I've actually always wondered how many times I've done something like that. Because you never know.
I know there's been one time... Oh, a nice little aggressive push there from Flight to the Sky. But I know one time I have completely walked by 3 enemies. And then I got an absolute beating in the tent afterwards. Because apparently there was 3 enemies just kind of just sat there in the doorway. And I just ran straight by them. And I just didn't even notice them. And that is a core memory which I'll never forget. And I now always check my angles. But that is a funny one to think about.
Buddha Master over here, ready to attack onto the impact. But, you know, we don't have total control in the east. Fly to the Sky still has control of that position, which could actually result in a cap for Spaces Aces. Gummy takes out Bronx, also bringing down to Buddha Master to save the day for Spaces Aces. He's rushing in. Jason isn't looking towards the objective.
He hasn't. Oh, just want to go for a cap, just for a smoke. Jason's just kind of turned around now. He is kind of open though. Trying to get that cap. Oh, are they gonna get it?
He will get this if he gets that code in without Jason realizing. And they've done it.
Cap.
Buddha Master saves the day for Spaces Aces.
They all just
back in.
It's very amusing. They're not even mad. They're just like, oh. No, Joe, it's like an O.
That is an amazing triumph from Spaces Aces. They have really put it in. That is a very cappable objective. I captained that objective myself the other day to also clutch a game, so I may add that in there.
Oh, of course you did. Of course I know how much you love to strive about your quarantine skills.
My achievements and
your
my medals.
achievements, yeah, your medals. You're expecting your latest gold one, aren't you, for doing so well in quarantine as you reserved one time for us. Yes, yes, you do love your golden medals.
Right then, we will now have Spaces Aces are the away team. Just before I add the wrong points.
Yeah, sorry. I've just kind of completely, it's late when I have no collection of what is going on. I'm still plodding through. I've not given up yet, but you can tell that I'm not with it. You know what, right? Why didn't I make you the head cast for this evening? I have no idea. I could have just sat there, closing my eyes, just only spoke, but no, I have to do camera angles. Oh. It's fine.
You know what? I am handling these assets over here quite well as well, so...
Well, that is very exciting and very good to hear.
Very riveting indeed.
Maybe soon you might even be able to cast on your own, Miro. A Pride Day. I'll be a very happy glue sniffer. Seeing my child grow up. It's going to be round 6 going up. It's going to be the last round. Can Space Aces kind of get it back, or will KOVRA crush them on the last round?
I do actually remember the early days when I first met you. Oh, some shots out. I actually taught you how to start casting,
I
which
know.
is funny.
It's amusing to how the teacher becomes the student in some ways. You got me into casting, and now I'm abusing you in how to get into official casting. Maybe not. This is probably not my most professional cast, as I sound like I'm about to fall asleep. But it's the idea which counts.
Death Legion could be picking off multiple of KOVRA's. Oh no, he's taken out by Bronx. That could have been a really good offensive push from the Spaces Aces defender.
So that does leave us now down to a 3v5 situation. It's looking quite good for KOVRA right now, as I only need to try to get to that objective, if not just kill 3 more players. They do have the numbers advantage. So we will be kind of waiting to see how Fly to the Sky, Jason and Bron X will be kind of pushing up. It does appear they will be going for the western side for the double doors. Maybe have a few people going up the ramp into Plain Building. Might even try to drop down onto the objective, which is a famous move. If anyone does remember that, the famous throw a flashbang through this little crack here and get that cab. I remember that legendary moment. It was one to be remembered for all time's sakes.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, some shots out from Gummy. He notices all the attackers down in the northwest.
So
misses his utility, I think.
Oh, and drops his mag. Oh, that's not great. So he is halted KOVRA quite a lot here. Does need to worry about Fly to the Sky, which is above him. Nice little pick there onto Battle Rose from Raccoon. Shot some Gummy Bear, does pre-fire, does take out Fly to the Sky here.
Scratch one. They're over here.
Nice level, another peek from Raccoon. It is now a 2v3. Space Aces could well and truly win this.
It is awfully close now. Spaces Aces have the advantage by a player 3v2. They're really going for it. pulling it back from what looked like certain victory for KOVRA.
So they just need to make sure that they do not cap. Of course, they are clearly unaware of the inside cap. Remember, anyone which is new to this objective, you can cap at the little plane here. As I'm kind of showing off now, you are able to cap, and you kind of aren't able to be seen unless the folk side is kind of purposely watching it from there, but that's still a very tight angle. But so you can cap through the plane, which is something to be capable care of. Oh, Yami and Jason are about to take shots. And going to swing round, securing the kill onto Jason, leaving down to a 3v1 for Bron.
A 3v1. Really tough situation for the KOVRA attacker to be in, but this is the exact situation that the Spaces Aces attacker was also in, so he could maybe try a cap from that position that we just talked about in there. But Buddermaster is on it.
I don't know if he knows about the cap though. If he does know about it, you know, that could be... I don't think he does. No, he doesn't. He's not going for that cap. Instead, he will be trying to make his way into the plane. Did make a footstep, so Buddha might be aware of it now. Not exactly sure. He is now slow peeking his way into the broken plane. He's kind of moving up. Does spot Buddha's gun here. This way about to his left. Darakun trying to make him this cross. Buddha does peek round, does spot him. And shots come out, securing the map pick for Space Aces. What a result.
Yeah, absolutely not how I expected that to go in the end. Spaces Aces.
I told you.
Really
I remember that.
brought it around.
I remember that I said that Spaces Aces would get it back. You didn't believe me? I know you didn't.
Well, I believe you now.
No, you better believe me now, because it is going to be happening, and we will be moving into a third map tiebreaker. Very excited to see what these teams will be picking for their final map. KOVRA must be very disappointed of that. They almost had it. They had a 3-0 score, and then they get beaten so hard. That has to hurt. But it does happen. Teams do become a little bit, you know, uncaring about that kind of situation, you know. Let's see, they have 3 points up the board, and when they start to kind of let go a little bit, let the freedom a little bit go, you always do need to be on the objective and make sure it will not be capped.
Yeah, it only takes one cap to turn a game around completely.
Only takes one kiss is all it takes. Now, we should be hopefully going into the next rehost and find out what the third map is going to be.
It's going to be one of the favorites.
I called it, I swear. You don't trust me, and I'm right.
I trust you.
Oh well, I say, and I was correct. It is going to be Suburbia on the third map. Very exciting map, of course. It's probably one of my, I know, recently, I've hated this map recently. I'm gonna be honest, with the new changes in the 1.10 version, I've been very unable to kind of play this map. I do experience some major performance issues when I'm actually playing this map. And yeah, I'm still experiencing them on the cast. Despite previously having 144 FPS on all the other maps, I'm now gonna cap towards 40 on this map, so definitely do need some improvement, especially on the performance side of things, but I should not be getting 30 FPS. What a shame. Hopefully that will not affect the cast too much. If there is a little bit of frame issue and a little bit of troppiness, just know it is not my fault. My PC is able to handle it, it's just the map is kind of not rendered properly.
Yeah, there is this thing called a skill issue, so...
Alright then, well, I appreciate that, Miro. Thank you for that. That's so humble of you. So humble of you to mention that my chronic skill issue, which I do occur on the daily. But yes, my it is a massive problem in my life, and I can, and you know, every day I wish for it to go away, but I cannot get rid of the skill issue which I have to deal with. But yeah, so it is what it is. Unfortunately, you learn to live with it.
Yeah, Suburbia is brighter than we've ever seen it before,
Even
and
better,
it
so.
does look quite nice.
It's yeah, I mean, I prefer the old version. I'm gonna be honest. Not because I can't run it now on the PC version and I'm capped towards 30 FPS on most of the map, but because I think it's just a little bit too bright. It's
What are your
too bright
opinions
for my
on
eyes.
Change to Bizarre?
Change to Bizarre. I mean, some of them are pretty good, and I'm not too upset about some of the wood models being changed. I don't know why they seem to have this idea that brighter is better, clearly.
Yeah, I believe that the brightness on Bizarre is quite nice, and I think they've done a good job at it.
Oh, they did a good job at Bizarre, but probably not a good job at Suburbia, as, oh man, it is like a Google slideshow going on, to say at least. It is something. Oh, nice little pick there. Nice little double refrag. 2 kills for KOVRA. No, nice. I don't know anymore. Nice 1 kill and almost then a down. Going for space aces. Gonna get that revive up to make it into a 4v4. So, hopefully soon this map will be fixed. So I will not be. Oh, I'm at 15 FPS. Oh, it's not looking great. It is not looking great.
It is down to a 3v3 and a half, actually. They'll be down, but revive 4v3 now. KOVRA close on the objective. If they get somebody in, Battle Rose goes in for a cap. Oh,
No,
but he doesn't go for the cap.
It is a massacre right now. Absolute massacre.
Flies to the sky, and Jason pushed in at a similar time. Completely eliminated 1v3. Jason, the lone KOVRA player, has to now push against 3 Spaces Aces defenders.
So it is getting very close. Jason is just barely. It's like the second he peeks out, he will be taken out, unfortunately, by Gummy. Oh, Gummy's not looking. Jason could be trying to creep up. It's going very fast. Just get the pick onto Buddha. Just gonna come around. Is gonna go for the cap, but will be taken out by Gummy. Nice little end off there. Going for space aces. Will be definite something to be proud of. Getting that first point down. We'll be trying their absolute hardest, trying to make sure they can win this, as they are the underdogs for this evening.
Yeah, they have absolutely beasted their way through the past 2 maps, it seems. You know, they've done really well on that starting defense, and they did really, really well to come back from a loss at first, what seemed. But now, they need to take the deciding map, which KOVRA definitely did not want it to come this close. You know, it looked like certain victory, and now they have to fight for another whole map. And they do not have defensive advantage either.
It is going to be an interesting one to behold. KOVRA will be trying their best, trying to make sure that space aces do not cap, and most importantly, do not get any more points. So it's It's going to be a interesting one. This is going to be a lot more faster than Quarantine, to say at least, so I do have the decency to know that I don't have to be on this map for much longer than I have to be. I just don't like this map anymore. They ruined it. They massacred my boy. I'm not the only one who's getting frame issues. You're also getting it as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not the only one who's for some reason getting 20 FPS on this map. Okay, well, that makes you feel better, but also feel worse at the same time. Some very aggressive smokes going on there from Space Aces on the objective. Shots are being had onto Death Legion. Nice little pick there onto Gummy Bear. Shots are just raining out. Down goes that Raccoon. 2 players down for Space Aces without a single player drop. I would be fearful to be in Sky's position. His teammate is pre-firing right over his shoulder. Death Legion does get a pick onto Battle Rose. Will be making its way into the playground. Out goes another flashbang by the looks of it. Dude, it's going to be trying to go for that cap. Is standing up. Isn't going for the crouch cap. Can he get the cap in time? No, he will not,
No.
unfortunately.
That could have went really well for Space's Aces if he just got that cap. But instead, KOVRA managed to get the defense, but really good defense from KOVRA. Maybe need to pay a little bit more attention for that capping spot, but in the end they did manage to get it. And it's now 1-1.
So it's getting very close and very tight, moving upwards. I would be very looking forward to see how this will end. It's been quite a tight game, and Space's Aces has been doing a 4v5 this entire time. This is not just a 5v5. This is going to be a huge standpoint if Space's Aces can win this. Despite being a player down, that is a huge compliment for their sake, at least. Also, kind of an insult at the same time. I would feel pity for KOVRA if they did lose, and having that knowledge that they lost to a team doing a 4v5 the entire time.
Yeah, they also came into the game as the underdogs, which is, amazing story to tell.
I love how we always use that term so often nowadays. Sometimes the teams are even that far away from each other, sometimes they are. Oh man, this map is so bad. It's lagging so bad, it hurts me mentally to kind of watch it.
Yeah, it is quite bad.
It is honestly horrendous. Hopefully that DPO will be going soon to fix it so we don't have to play on the mess.
Death Legion aggressively pushes up onto the attackers, sitting in a nice position. I think using the first person views a lot more really helps the FPS, I find.
Does it? Ah, yes. I think it's because I believe it's because of the render distance. When you are rendering most of the thing... Hey, no, I take that back. When you're outside of a player position, you get very low FPS. That is random.
펜션 2층에 하나.
What a bizarre one. I still put it on Battle Rose. Shots fired. Ooh! Gummy is kind of going at it. We'll be trying to get a pick onto Battle Rose, which is Gummy's main target. Death Legion is now putting pressure onto Shafexki. Let's get the pick. We need to worry about Bron, which is behind him, pre-firing through that little hedge. Almost gets him though.
Nearly taken out by Death Legion. Wow.
Just we need to worry about right behind him. There's a player right behind him. He's going to be coming out for
Here's
that
him.
thing. Oh, barely. He almost had him. Just need to worry about Bron. So we will be coming around in the trade.
Oh.
More shots being shot from Gummy, leaving down to a 2v1.
Unfortunately for Space's Aces, the KOVRA attacker is there to back up Bronx. And they're now going to, if they can get the revive out,
least one on APC.
They could push up as a 2. Work as a pair. Buddha-master is not actively watching that lane, but occasionally he does do a little peek up.
So they are going to play in this a bit wisely. Of course, Gummy, being at the lane 4, will be able to watch down this entire street, stopping from anyone from crossing. Of course, Fly to the Sky will be definitely trying to go for that revive as quick as possible.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like KOVRA believe it's safe enough to go for a revive.
So it is it's a bit of an odd one. I would probably risk it. Maybe that's just me, but I would probably risk that revive. To have that knowledge of having those extra players up would be crucial for me.
Yeah, the downed KOVRA player can also give off intel just by being down, since they can look all around them.
So always something which I find curious is that I would prefer a teammate to either leave me down if I could give out callouts than to go for a res and probably end up dying. Saying that, most of the time my team often tries to avoid resing me because they don't like me, but you know, maybe that's just me.
Very sad story.
Very sad emotional story about how I was left behind by my team on cargo whilst downed, but no, I take that back. Actually, I did get revived. It just felt very sad as I saw everyone run away. Saw everyone push out and I was sat by myself.
Bronx is going to bleed out very soon, I assume.
A bleed out's like 2 minutes long. It's very hard to die a bleed out. I've only died to bleed out on very rare occasions.
Yeah, usually on downfall or something.
Yeah, normally downfall. And he is died of bleed out just now as we're talking about it, but so it is rare to die of bleed out. I have never seen anyone die from bleed out on like a map like Suburbia, but maps like Downfall, Quarantine, Abandon, you know, you expected to see it more. Some pre-fires from Flood to the Sky here. He's kind of making his way up. Just trying to clear anything he can.
I haven't seen Abandon be played for a long time on cast or even in, you know, games in general. One of those forgotten maps, but it's one of my favorites when it comes down to it. It's a really fun map to play with Gummy. Going to spot Fly to the Sky and leaves Spaces Aces with another point. Take home.
Very, very nice. So we're almost there to the threshold to where I can get off this map. But say Spaces Aces does get that second pick, leaving down to a 2-1 so far. Spaces will be trying their absolute hardest, trying to secure this next Marsoc win, which is going to be at the defenders building in the garage objective. This has to be one of the worst objectives to try to get that cap on. This is a very Volk-sided objective. For good reason, you know, it is in their spawn. There is no other way to get to the objective except from pushing through. And of course, it does mean that you need to worry about lane 1, lane 2, lane 3, lane 4, middle mansion, building, all of course the tanks and the sandbags, and of course playground and the top car. Just should I go on? There is a lot to take care of when you are trying to push this objective.
You have to cross the street, and that's the hard part. And a lot of smokes won't help. Exactly, it will help, but it won't do magic. You know, you really have to rely on just getting picks long range, and you will find yourself winning at attacking rounds.
So I am looking very forward to see if Space Aces can try to get this pick on the next round. If not, trying to maybe go for that cap, which would be a dream world scenario. But now moving our way into round 4. They're getting themselves ready with the laggy FPS gameplay going ahead, but we are moving forward. That was a nice flashbang. Does hit Sabiki in the face. Fly to the sky. It's inside. Does get taken out by Gummy. Sabiki will be trying to push back here. Maybe trying to go into center. Nice little play there from Gummy. Butter will be taken out though. Is going to be confirmed. Does need to worry about that Raccoon. There's some major shots being shot off. Does take out Jason.
Press 3. One guy in the second lane, third lane.
We are going to see a secure, probably kill win. Unless they want to go for this cap. I don't think they know where he is currently. Does appear that they unaware. Does appear definitely trying to go for that cap. We do have Sabiki, which is at the sandbags in the middle mansion.
Third lane, third lane. Sorry, second lane, second lane.
They will be going for that cap. Do not kill. Going for that cap. And the cap.
Wow. And it comes out to win Spaces Aces the game on. Wow, they've done it twice now. Getting a cap to bring the game into their hands.
So
That
this
was a special cap.
That is a way to end up, or to end off a match for this evening. What a way to end it off. So a very nice little performance there, as it did come down to, is going to be securing that last map, going for their team. It's going to be 8. It's going to be 10 for Spaces Aces, and it is going to be 8. So it's going to be a 10-8 going for Spaces Aces, and it is going to be Spaces Aces win for this evening. What a result. And of course, it was during a 4v5 going for Spaces Aces, so that is a massive standpoint, a huge, pat on the back going for them, as they were having that player down, and I did commit to it, and I did, despite being in a worse position, did manage to pull through and secure the win. It makes you think how they would do if they had that 5th player in. But that is to be foreseen. If we ever do, cast them again, probably not, as it's pretty late for me, and I'm basically about to fall asleep as I'm sitting here. But it's been a pleasure, as I can say so, for me and Delamiro for this evening. This has been Onward VRML 1 out for this evening. Adios, amigos.